let's look at this image. On one side, there is a very neat and good-looking haircut that's actually way cheaper than you would assume. Meanwhile, on the other side, there's a very flat and greasy-looking haircut that's actually way more expensive than you would think. This comparison actually, Now, if we think logically, usually price should reflect quality. But clearly here, it isn't always the case. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shalom, and this is my teammate Lyonn. And today, we're going to introduce you all to our website called smart-cipes. Now, let's head back to the comparison. This comparison actually reflects to a misunderstanding that most of us go through on our everyday life. We usually think that expensive products or expensive services usually have a higher quality. Meanwhile, the cheaper products are usually worse than we would think. But in the food industry, it's another story. Usually, many people think that more healthy foods are leaning to the expensive side. They are more time-consuming and way more difficult to prepare, while cheaper foods are faster and more convenient to prepare. And this leads to the most common assumption that cheaper foods are usually way more easy for us to access. It isn't technically wrong, but it doesn't mean that we don't care about our body. It just means that the food industry makes it more accessible for us to get unhealthy meals. So let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture. Why has healthy eating become such a challenge in the first place? Many of us know what a healthy diet looks like, whether it be through social media apps, our friends, communities, and maybe even the government themselves. But we all know that in real life, it isn't always that simple. Between balancing school, work, and our daily responsibilities, it's hard to juggle a healthy diet as well as a very tight schedule. So unfortunately, that leads us to our last resort, unhealthy meals. And because of that, we tend to assume that cheap or unhealthy meals are the more clearer path for us to eat. And it's more obvious for us because it's in the bottom shelf, while the gold mine of healthy food is right on top of us. So it's not just a one country issue or one community issue, but it's a whole larger global issue. Many of us face the most common barriers, whether it be limited time, limited money, or even limited access to healthy ingredients. And because of that, we option for a more cheaper, faster, and a more convenient and practical product, or unhealthy foods. And because of this pattern, it has a very significant consequence: long-term illnesses that will follow us to our deathbed. According to the World Health Organization, the global obesity rate has nearly tripled since 1975. And the global obesity rate, and nearly 1 billion people have had obesity out of the 8 billion people in our world. So this isn't clearly just a one country situation or just a one type of person situation, but it is actually a global situation. And because of that, so comes the long-term illnesses that will follow us to our graves. For example, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, liver failure, and more so that we haven't even figured out yet. So the challenge isn't just simply knowing what foods are good or bad for us, but it's also the accessibility through realisticness and the accessibility of said healthy foods. So the challenge is actually having more accessible foods, more realistic foods, and more simple foods that are actually healthy for us to consume. And that gap is exactly what smart-cipes will design. So Leon, why don't you introduce the audience on what smart-cipes is?
Yes, of course, Shalom. So introducing our solution, which is the website that we made called smart-cipes. Here's the QR code that you can scan. Feel free to scan it, and don't worry because the QR code will remain on the bottom left corner of the screen there. After you scan the QR code, you'll be met with this homepage. In this homepage, there's going to be navigation bars on the top. And these navigation buttons will lead you to more pages of this site. On the first one, we have the homepage, SDG goals, recipes, and contacts, biblical values, and also messages from the authors, which is us. So let's look at our homepage. Welcome to our homepage. Here, we will share to you on why we made this website. It is because, as Shalom has mentioned earlier, global obesity rates has nearly tripled since 1975. So we simply just want to give a solution and try to reduce these obesity rates. Moving on, we have our SDG page. What are SDGs, you may ask? SDGs are also known as Sustainable Development Goals. These are goals that the United Nations aim to achieve before the year 2030. We are correlated with the second and third SDG. The second SDG, which talks about world hunger. We aim to reduce world hunger and give people the opportunity to cook for themselves instead of buying fast food. And the third SDG talks about good health and well-being. This talks about people has to be more healthy and be caring to more caring to themselves. Welcome to our recipe homepage. This is the page where you can see what our website offers. For now, we only have 3 recipes, but we aim to add more in the future. So let's look at our grilled chicken recipe. Seems very simple, huh? It only needs a couple of ingredients and very simple steps. Basically, anyone could do it. And next, we have our contact page. Here, you can contact us, you can ask us, you can give us suggestions, and you can send us your recipes. We might even consider adding it to this very website. Why will it work, you may ask? This website will work because it simply just wants to share people kindness and give health through our website. We just simply want to help people, especially people that lacks money or time. So remember, to you all, we just simply want to give a solution to this world-forsaken world that has been eating our lives away because we just tend to eat fast food every day. We want to give a solution to everyone. And a famous person that you may know, Winston Churchill, has given us a quote. He quoted, "We make life by what we get, but we give life by what we give." And again, we just simply want to give people or users the opportunity to change their lives and just simply be more healthy, more caring about themselves. Thank you all for listening, and don't forget, eat like a king and cook like you're busy. Thank you. Here from smart-cipes.